Have you ever found yourself in a high-pressure situation, wishing you could remain as composed and commanding as the fictional characters we admire? One name stands out when it comes to exuding quiet confidence is Tommy Shelby from the movie titled Peaky Blinders.
You tell me what
His
it is!
cold, calculated demeanor holds power. And today, we're going to explore how you can build that same quiet confidence that commands authority just like Tommy. Tommy's unshakable confidence doesn't come from arrogance, but from a deep mastery of staying calm under pressure. So, let's break it down. Before we begin, take a moment to hit that like button, share, and subscribe so you never miss out on our new videos that could reshape your life. Don't just learn alone, do well to share so that others can benefit from these lessons too. Your voice matters here. You can also make the most of this journey by keeping the comment section alive. Let's make this experience interactive. Drop a 1 in the comments if you love this topic and what we are doing here, and I'll heart your comment. Or type I if you think there's something we can improve. And let us know how. Sit back, relax, and let's embark on this life-changing journey through the ocean of wisdom together. Number 1. The art of staying calm. Let's start with one of Tommy Shelby's greatest strengths, staying calm under pressure. In high-stress moments, when everything is on the line, it's not always the loudest or most aggressive person who wins. No, the one who remains calm holds the real power. In those moments when tension is thick in the air, calmness isn't just about controlling your nerves, it's about keeping your mind clear, thinking ahead, and turning the chaos around you into an advantage. So, how do we cultivate this level of calmness? Let's be honest, it's not something you're born with. Even Tommy wasn't. His calmness was forged in the fires of war and the gritty streets of Birmingham. But here's the good news. This kind of calmness can be learned. It's a skill that's honed through deliberate exposure to challenging situations. Situations where most people would crumble. But you learn to hold steady. You see, staying calm isn't about being born fearless. It's about training yourself to stay composed, even when everything inside of you is screaming to panic. This is where exposure comes in. The more you face uncomfortable situations, the more your mind and body adapt. The fear doesn't control you anymore. It's exposure therapy, gradually increasing your tolerance for stress by facing it head on, just like Tommy did. Let me tell you about Sarah. Like many of us, Sarah was terrified of public speaking. Her voice would tremble, her hands would sweat, and she'd rush through her presentations just to escape the discomfort. She dreaded being on stage. But Sarah decided not to avoid her fear. Instead, she embraced it. Sarah began by practicing with friends, building her confidence little by little. First, it was just a small group, then slightly larger audiences. She pushed herself, step by step, exposing herself to her fear repeatedly, until eventually she could stand on stage without that overwhelming sense of panic. This is the essence of exposure therapy. By facing something uncomfortable, again and again, your mind learns to adapt. The fear doesn't disappear, but you learn to manage it. With each exposure, you build resilience, and over time, what once seemed impossible becomes almost second nature. Now, think about a moment of stress in your own life. Maybe it's a job interview coming up, a presentation at work, or a difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Instead of letting that fear build in your mind, take small steps to expose yourself to the situation. Visit the office where the interview will take place. Familiarize yourself with the environment. Practice answering questions with a friend. Little by little, these small actions help you normalize the pressure. By the time the big day comes, the setting and the stress won't feel as overwhelming. You've already experienced parts of it, and your mind has learned how to cope. Just like with any other skill, calmness under pressure is something you can strengthen with practice. The more you face stress, the more resilient you become. You don't need to be born with nerves of steel to handle high-pressure moments. You just need to train yourself to stay grounded. So, the next time you find yourself in a moment of tension, remember this. It's not about being fearless. It's about how you respond to fear. Start small, expose yourself to stress bit by bit, and over time you'll find that the calmness you seek is already within your grasp. Like Tommy, you can learn to keep your mind clear and your composure steady, no matter the chaos swirling around you. Calm is a skill, and now it's your turn to build it. Number 2, commanding conversations. We've all been there. Tense conversations, where it feels like the other person has all the control. In those moments, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, unsure of how to steer the discussion back in your favor. But commanding a conversation isn't about talking over others or being the loudest in the room. It's about strategy, and Tommy Shelby is a master at it. One of Tommy's secret weapons is what we call the state-breaking question. In the middle of a heated conversation, when things aren't going his way, Tommy will throw in a completely unexpected question, something that seems off topic, but is actually a calculated move. Now, why does this work? It's all about disruption. When a conversation is spiraling out of control, or when someone else is dominating the discussion, a well-timed, unrelated question throws them off balance. It disrupts their momentum and gives you an opportunity to reset the dynamic. This is how Tommy takes control. He doesn't overpower. He redirects. It may sound simple, but this technique works wonders in everyday life too. Imagine you're in a meeting and someone is dominating the conversation, cutting you off at every turn. Instead of getting frustrated or trying to outshout them, throw in a curveball. Ask them something unrelated, something unexpected. It could be as simple as, "How was your weekend?" or "Did you catch the game last night?" That pause in intensity does two things. It breaks their emotional momentum and redirects the focus back to you. Suddenly, the room is listening to your words, not theirs. Think about it. How many times have you been in a difficult conversation, feeling like you're on the back foot, maybe with your boss, your partner, or even a customer? The other person seems to be steering the entire conversation, and you feel like you're just reacting. A well-timed state-breaking question is a tool you can use to shift the energy and regain control. You don't have to be the most powerful person in the room to command authority. Sometimes, all it takes is a well-placed question to reset the emotional tone and bring the conversation back to a more neutral place. It's a subtle technique, but incredibly effective. This strategy works because it forces the other person to stop, think, and reset, giving you the opportunity to take control of the conversation. The best setting, whether it's a tense meeting, a family argument, or even a casual chat that's getting out of hand. A state-breaking question is your tool for redirecting the flow. Remember, commanding conversations doesn't mean being the loudest or most forceful. It means being the calmest, the most strategic. Tommy doesn't rush to dominate. He controls through subtle moves. So, next time you feel like a conversation is slipping away from you, don't fight harder. Instead, redirect with a well-placed state-breaking question.
What makes you hate yourself?
In any conversation,
Is it the red shoes?
the real power isn't in
Is
what's
it the
said
red shoes?
loudest, but in the person who controls the flow.
Are you sure?
Now,
That's fucking
you have
red.
a tool to do just that. Number 3. Aligning interests for persuasion. Persuasion isn't about forcing someone to see things your way. It's about aligning their interests with yours. Tommy Shelby does this better than anyone. When he walks into a room full of people who don't want what he's offering, he doesn't bulldoze them into agreement. Instead, he masterfully identifies what they want and shows them how his success serves their interests too. One of Tommy's greatest strengths is his ability to see the world from his opponent's perspective. When he enters a negotiation, he's not thinking about how to make them agree with his plan. He's thinking, what do they need? What motivates them? Once he knows that, he aligns their interests with his own, making it impossible for them to say no. This is the essence of powerful persuasion. Not convincing someone to adopt your goals, but showing them how your goals already serve theirs. Let's bring this into a more familiar context. Imagine you're pitching a new project at work, but your colleague doesn't see the value in it. Instead of just pushing harder, take a step back. Think about what's important to them. Maybe they're concerned about timelines, resources, or how this project will affect their own workload. Now, align your pitch to address their concerns. For example,
I want
if
to
their
know what you want.
priority is hitting a tight deadline, emphasize how your project will streamline processes or cut down unnecessary steps. If they're more focused on career advancement, show them how their involvement will increase visibility with leadership. The key is to make them see how their success is tied to your success. It's not about persuasion through force, it's persuasion through alignment. This strategy isn't just for business. It works in personal situations too. Whether you're negotiating responsibilities at home, trying to convince your kids to do their homework, or even planning a vacation with friends, the same principles apply. Instead of framing the conversation around your needs, reframe it to show how meeting their needs aligns
Thanks for
with the
the
outcome.
deal as explaining my proposal.
This is what
I'll
Tommy
book you a
does
suite at
so
the Midland Hotel.
brilliantly.
If you need anything
Even
in the
when
city,
dealing with
just mention
people
my name.
who
So
have
you
no
want to
reason
impress me,
help.
Mr. Shelby?
Also
People
in the
who stand to
envelope
gain
is a
nothing
check.
from his success.
£500
He
for your
finds a
wife.
way to make
She
them
can
see
use
that
it
their
to buy a black
interests are at
dress,
stake too.
into black
He's not
horse
just
with black
thinking,
feathers, to pull a black
how do I
carriage
win?
with your body in it,
He's
to break the
thinking,
terms
how do we
of the
both
white
win?
flag.
Tommy uses another powerful tool in persuasion, the carrot and stick approach. He doesn't just appeal to their desires, he also reminds them of what they stand to lose.
If those guns reach
Human beings
Belfast,
are motivated by both
your life
reward
and
and
force
fear of
is
loss.
over.
Tommy offers a
When
tempting
I've achieved
reward,
what I've set out to
but he
achieve,
doesn't hesitate to mention
let
the
you know where to find the
consequences of
guns.
saying no.
you'll be a hero.
It's this balance
You'll
that makes his
probably get
offers
a medal.
irresistible. You can apply the same tactic in your own negotiations. Whether you're asking for a raise, presenting a business proposal, or even trying to get a favor from a friend, don't just focus on what the other person gains. Highlight what they stand to lose by not cooperating. Maybe it's missed opportunities, wasted time, or even the risk of falling behind. When you combine these two, when you offer both the carrot and the stick, you create an offer that's nearly impossible to refuse. The secret to Tommy Shelby's persuasive power isn't in his aggression or intimidation. It's in his ability to align interests. He understands that when you appeal to what others want and show them how it connects to what you want, persuasion becomes effortless. And when you offer both reward and consequence, you make your position even stronger. So, next time you need to persuade someone, whether in business, relationships, or everyday life, remember this. Don't focus on what you want. Focus on what they need. Align their interests with yours, and watch how easily the conversation shifts in your favor. Number 4. Turning adversity into advantage. What do you do when everything goes wrong? When the plan falls apart? When setbacks threaten to undo all your hard work? Most people get flustered, frustrated, or even give up. But not Tommy Shelby. Tommy has mastered the art of turning adversity into advantage. In life, things rarely go according to plan. But it's not the setback itself that defines your success. It's how you respond to it. And Tommy's response is always the same. Calm, strategic, and unyielding. He doesn't just weather the storm, he uses it. So, how can we apply that same mindset in our lives? How can we turn bad situations into opportunities? Let's take a closer look at this principle. It all starts with reframing adversity. Tommy sees challenges as part of the game, not obstacles to his goals. When things go wrong, instead of dwelling on the failure, he asks one critical question: how can this setback be used to my advantage? This shift in mindset is the key. In one memorable scene, Tommy uses a failed assassination attempt on his brother to his advantage. Instead of seeing it as a defeat, he sees an opportunity to spread disinformation, buying himself time for a counterattack. What looks like a setback to everyone else is just another piece of the puzzle for Tommy. He flips the script, using what happened against his enemies. In our own lives, setbacks can often be reframed into opportunities. Didn't get that job you wanted? Ask yourself what you learned from the process. What new skills did you develop, and how can they be used for something else? Perhaps you gained connections during the interview process, or you uncovered gaps in your skill set that you can now improve. When we shift our focus from the failure itself to what we've gained, adversity becomes a tool we can use to propel ourselves forward. Think about it this way. Every problem contains hidden opportunities. It's all about finding them. You lost a client? Maybe that frees up time to focus on higher value projects. A project failed. Maybe you now have valuable insights that can prevent bigger failures down the line. It's about being proactive, asking, what can I take from this situation that will help me win next time? This principle doesn't just apply to business or war. In our personal lives, setbacks often carry the seeds of new growth. A failed relationship might seem like a disaster, but it could be the space you needed to focus on yourself, to learn, grow, and ultimately find a better connection. Every ending can be the start of something new, if you're willing to look for the advantage hidden in the adversity. It's this shift from being reactive to being strategic that allows you to take control of any situation, no matter how dire it seems. And once you've mastered this mindset, adversity stops being something to fear. It becomes a tool, something you can harness to propel you forward. Some of the most successful people in the world share this mindset. Scientists whose failed experiments lead to major breakthroughs. Athletes who come back stronger after injuries, using their recovery time to refine their strategies. The truth is, adversity is often the greatest teacher. It sharpens us, forces us to adapt, and if we're smart, it can push us toward success we never thought possible. So, the next time you face adversity, whether it's a career setback, a personal challenge, or a failed plan, remember Tommy's lesson. Don't react emotionally. Step back. Look for the hidden opportunity, the way forward that wasn't visible before. Turn that setback into your advantage, and you'll come out stronger every single time. Number 5. Building social power. What is social power? It's not about being the loudest in the room or trying to dominate every conversation. True social power, the kind Tommy Shelby wields so effortlessly, is about presence. It's the ability to command respect and authority without even needing to raise your voice. It's the quiet confidence that makes people take notice when you walk into a room. In a world full of noise, the ability to be silent yet powerful is a rare skill. Tommy doesn't need to shout to be heard. He doesn't need to boast to prove his worth. His power lies in his subtlety, in the way he carries himself, in the way he observes before acting. And that's what makes his social power so effective. It's not forced, it's earned. So, how can you build this kind of social power in your own life? It starts with mastering the art of observation. Tommy doesn't dominate conversations for the sake of it. He listens, really listens to what others are saying. He studies their body language, their motives, their weaknesses. By the time he speaks, he knows exactly how to position himself. The result: when Tommy talks, people listen. In your daily interactions, whether at work, with friends, or even at home, take a page out of Tommy's playbook. Instead of jumping into the conversation to make your point, take a step back. Observe. Listen. What are people really saying? What are they not saying? This gives you the upper hand, because when you finally do speak, your words are backed by insight, not impulse. Tommy also understands the value of restraint. He doesn't feel the need to fill every silence or prove himself in every moment. This kind of restraint can actually increase your influence. When you speak less, your words carry more weight. When you act with precision, people see you as more deliberate, more controlled qualities that naturally command respect. Think about your own social or professional settings. Often, the person who dominates the conversation isn't the one with the most influence. It's the person who chooses their moments wisely. They're the ones people remember, because when they do engage, their words matter. Another key aspect of social power is empowerment. Tommy doesn't micromanage his family or his business partners. He delegates, trusts the people around him, and lets them shine in their roles. This builds loyalty and strengthens his position as a leader. People respect him because they know he respects them. In your own life, whether you're leading a team or managing relationships, learn to empower others. When you trust the people around you, they'll work harder for you because they'll feel valued. And in turn, your social power grows, not through control, but through mutual respect. Ultimately, building social power isn't about quick wins or flashy moments. It's about consistency. Tommy's authority wasn't built in a day. It came from years of careful decision-making, controlled actions, and quiet confidence. People look to him because he's proven time surface. Over time, that quiet confidence becomes your most powerful tool. So, the next time you find yourself in a situation where you need to assert authority, take a moment to step back, observe, listen, choose your words carefully, and let your actions speak louder than any speech ever could. Remember, social power isn't about being loud, it's about being quietly, undeniably in control. Finally, the path to unshakable confidence. So how do we reach that level of unshakable confidence? The kind Tommy Shelby embodies so naturally. It's not something that happens overnight. Confidence, like any skill, is built over time. It's shaped by the challenges you face, the lessons you learn, and the ability to stay calm even when the world around you is anything but. The truth is, unshakable confidence isn't about being fearless. It's about mastering fear. It's about knowing that, no matter what life throws at you, you have the tools to handle it. Whether it's staying calm under pressure, commanding a conversation, or turning a setback into an opportunity. These are all skills you can develop, just like Tommy did. Building unshakable confidence starts with small, consistent actions. Each time you face a challenge, each time you push yourself just a little further outside your comfort zone, you're strengthening that inner resolve. It's the repetition, the practice, that makes confidence second nature.
I want to know what you want.
In the quiet moments. When you're planning, preparing, and sharpening your skills, it's not just about the big wins, but about how you approach every challenge, no matter how small. That's where true confidence comes from. When you embrace this journey of staying calm, turning adversity into advantage, commanding respect, and aligning others' interests, you start to build something lasting. You start to cultivate a confidence that isn't easily shaken by setbacks or criticism. It's a confidence that comes from knowing who you are and what you're capable of. This is the path to unshakable confidence. It's not about avoiding challenges, but facing them head on. It's about preparing, adapting, and always finding a way forward. And when you do that, when you embrace the lessons from Tommy Shelby, you'll find yourself moving through life with the kind of confidence that commands authority no matter where you are.